Hey everyone, it's Renee with Oak Creek Homestead with another garden tour. I am taking this right before the sun sets for the night. It's like perfect lighting out here, but I wanted to show you what's going on in our main garden first. This is our second batch of sugar peas. You can tell how pretty these peas are. These plants have gotten so tall. This is the first pea plant that we've had that has been this tall. You can see right behind it on the trellis, we're getting our first, first canary climbing nasturtium flower. This is the new type of nasturtium for us to grow this year. It's getting really tall, which is pretty cool. Down here, tucked underneath, is cucumber plant. So the goal for these cucumbers is to try and get them to vine and grow up this trellis. Over here, this is the sugar peas you've been seeing us picking. They were about finished, so we pulled them out. We have a nasturtium growing in this bed. I have some cucumber melon plants I started from seed that will hopefully climb this trellis. And then in here, I'm gonna plant probably a couple ground cherry plants. Swiss chard, out of control. And then starts our tomatoes and peppers. We have some beautiful clusters of tomatoes coming on. Can you guys see those in there? Let me see if I can move this closer. Look at how pretty those tomatoes are. Our pepper plants are suddenly looking greener. We fertilized last week with a muriate of phosphate and some Epsom salts. So we're getting our first these are shishito peppers. Got one over here too. You see that little guy down there? So more tomatoes and peppers all along here. More clusters of beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tomatoes. Beautiful basil plant. I'm actually going to harvest some of this basil and make basil lemonade this weekend. So I'll take a video of that for you. You can see in here, our red zebra tomatoes are looking awesome. We're so excited for them to start blushing and turn red, reddish orange. Again, as you just walk down here, some of these tomato plants are almost as tall as me. We got a ton of sun today, so the plants are a little bit dried out. I'm not going to water tonight though, because we're supposed to get several inches of rain overnight, or maybe about half an inch of rain. So again, just lots of green. Our sunflowers are doing well. Tomatoes, more peppers down here. These are our poblano peppers coming on. That's a pretty good size one. Well, let me get a little bigger. Over here, this tomato is growing along the ground. It's going to get staked up. But again, even our peppers down here are looking more green. They're really doing well. We've got some Roma tomatoes coming on over there. Can you see them hiding between the leaves? Peppers, peppers, sunflowers, peppers, rhubarb, which we're finally getting some usable stems in there. We're going to cut it back this weekend and make a dessert from that. Nasturtium flowers. We've been getting a couple flowers a day we've been eating, and it's been really yummy on our salads. Over here we've got strawberries, a couple random beets that are finally coming up, spinach that's gone to seed, more strawberries. Those are carrots back there that finally came up. The greens are edible, so sometimes when we go to thin those, I will thin out some of the greens and eat them. Over in this row, we've got more peppers down here. This is our random collection of sweet peppers along this bottom row. So we bought them from a local grower. There's a whole bunch of four different varieties there. So we will see when they start to bear fruit. What's coming up? And in here you can see how big these tomatoes are getting. I mean, look at how thick that is. It's about as thick as my finger there. Looks great. So still some peppers hiding underneath here. Some marjoram right there. A tomato plant that needs to be staked up here in the middle of the pathway. And some really pretty, these are Japanese trifle black tomatoes. And then down here we have some purple Russian. So really good sized tomatoes coming on. Some hiding back in there too. Our tomatillo plants are growing through the trellis. Again, some more tomatoes that we need to work on staking up. Our eggplants, these are our Black Beauty eggplants. They are coming back to life. They still have quite a few flea beetles on them, but they are surviving. And we have this little flower coming on, so I'm hoping we'll get an eggplant from that. So looking good. Some purple basil that I'm going to harvest. Again, another row of tomatoes, variety along there. Our tomatillas are doing well. Even this little one that was miniature for so long is really catching up. So tomatillas are doing great. Seeing some fruit set. Some tomatilla fruit set there. This is our volunteer something. I'm not sure. You can see all the flowers down there. And we actually have a fruit developing on the other side. You see it through there? I'm not sure if it's going to be a zucchini or some sort of summer squash, or if it's going to be like a pumpkin. Guess we'll have to see. But our eggplants down here are also recovering from the flea beetles. So I'm excited to see that. I'm hoping that means that we will continue to get some plants. There was a plant there. It seems to have disappeared, which is not great. So this is another pepper. There's a bunch of flowers in here that we planted. This is my random bed assortment of flowers. A random pepper growing up from the middle of that plant. Nasturtiums with some flowers coming on in there. You see that? So there's a lemon basil coming to life, some spearmint, and then this is the Turkish eggplant down here on the end. We'll see. I got some seeds mixed up. I'm not quite sure if that's right, but we'll see soon what comes up. Another beautiful nasturtium flower. Then here we've got tons of escarole. And what I'm going to do with all this escarole, we can't possibly eat it all, but I am going to pick it, wash it, blanch it, and then freeze it so that we can use it for the rest of the summer and all fall in soups and stir fries, things like that. Anytime you use spinach, essentially. You can see there my red noodle bean plants are growing. Again, some more carrots, lots of Swiss chard. We've been picking this every day. Now that these leaves are really big, I will actually pick them and blanch them for a few minutes in some hot water just to soften them up a little bit, and then use them as wraps, like for sandwiches, cold cuts and things. Here's our flower bed over here. All these little green ones. So one of the little people helped me plant. So they got a little overzealous with the seeds, but regardless, we're gonna see what comes up. Go from there. Pumpkins back there. These are Jacob's bush beans in here. Another little pumpkin guy coming up, and more bush beans. Those back there are watermelon. These are all weeds. So this is like real life gardening. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. We've had crazy weather. We've not had time to get out here every day. So this is like what happens when you neglect your garden for a few days. These are acorn squash plants growing. These are some icicle radishes, which not good. Little slug. Icicle radishes are supposed, see that other little green guy? Supposed to keep away squash bugs. Apparently they do not keep away slugs. I'm just going to pick this and then take it to the chickens. So again, in this bed we have more green beans. We have more watermelon growing back there, besides this giant tarragon tree. More green beans. Some more melons in there. More green beans. You can kind of see how I did these beds. You see one's a little bit more developed down here. Again, green beans. Not much is coming up in this on this hill yet. Little guy. We'll see what happens. These are actually purple beans. You can see how purple the stems are there. Again, this is our Moon and Stars watermelon. More green beans. Another melon there. Another nasturtium flower. These are icicle radishes along here. You can kind of tell how. See that white radish right there? It's called an icicle radish. Icicle radishes, again, we planted because they're supposed to be good at keeping away squash bugs. So far they've worked, but in this bed you can tell I have planted 3 seeds to a mound and almost all of these came up. So what I'm going to do is go through and thin out, cut the bottoms, cut out 2 of the plants, put a cage around them, try and train these plants to grow upward or grow along the fence back there. So that's the main garden. Last stop on the garden tour tonight is the herb garden. And for the most part, it's doing really well. These are our kohlrabi. You start to see them forming at the base down there. Can you see that? You can also see those little black specks or caterpillar poop. So I will come out here probably in the morning because, like I said, we're supposed to get a lot of rain tonight, and use some sort of pest repellent on them, either neem oil or maybe some DE. And again, more escarole that we're going to pick, blanch, and freeze. Spinach in here that's starting to go to seed. We're going to pick as much of it as we can, again, and just straight freeze that. Sometimes I blend it up and freeze it in an ice cube tray so that we have it then for smoothies. It's our lemon balm coming back to life after I give it a haircut. Kale looking awesome. I don't know if you can tell how big some of these leaves are, but like, you know, there's my hand. So they're pretty good size. This is the black magic kale, and this is the prism kale. More random flowers. This amaretto basil plant is looking great. Some of the kale in there is really getting eat up by caterpillars. So I'm kind of getting excited to be done with all these lettuces because we're just about done eating them. Freeze what we can. Once they go to seed, they're done. We feed them to the chickens. And then we'll be planting in here a lot more herbs and things. All of the white flowers you see are cilantro going to seed. This is all cilantro that came up from seed last year. I did not plant any of this. The yellow flowers are flowers from the tatsoi spinach plant. Flowers are edible and we have been eating them. More Swiss chard, more kohlrabi that's just getting decimated. I may end up just tearing a lot of this out. Tarragon, this is tarragon back here. There's a bee balm plant back there. The 2 pots you see are rosemary, and then here's another bee balm. And those flowers are about ready to harvest. So I'll harvest those flowers and then let them dry, and we will use them in tea. You can use them to make infused oils for lotions or salves. There are a lot of uses for those. This is our huge sage bush. Pineapple sage bush. Oregano right here. Over here we've got more kale, sage. We've got some variegated oregano there, some purple sage, and then just lots of kale, lots of greens, marigold. Again, I've been really trying this year to add in a lot more flowers with everything instead of just doing herbs and vegetables. This is an orange thyme. I think this is dill right here. And then these green that kind of look like parsley, these are actually celery, and they're doing really well. Look how some of these stalks are getting pretty thick. So you can actually start harvesting at this size, the celery, and use it like in salads. It's real tender. Or you can wait till it kind of forms a clump. Go from there. All of the weeds that are out of control. Here's my stevia plant, some chamomile that I've been picking and harvesting, using it in teas, spearmint, and then my wall of sunflowers is growing. So that is it for the garden tour this week, guys.